Gabal told Daraman of the visions and dreams that haunted him and asked Daraman for advice. So Daraman asked him to open up his soul for him to see, and Gabal opened his heart and soul to him. When Daraman had seen deep into Gabal's soul, he understood the pain and the confusion that lay hidden deep inside it. And he wept bitter tears of pity for Gabal and for the whole of his race, for he saw that the jinn were a forlorn race that had been cast away by its creator. So full of divine compassion were his tears that they froze into immaculate gemstones of pure blue crystal as soon as they left his eyes. It is said that springs of clear fresh water sprang forth from the earth wherever one of them hit the ground. And finally he spoke to Gabal. Alas, truly thy race hath suffered. But there is hope, my lord, hope even for your race that has been deserted by its reckless creator. And he went on to teach him the ways of abjuration and of enlightenment. And Gabal listened and learned, and when he saw the wisdom in Daraman's words, he decided to renounce the old ways. And soon many others of his race embraced the holy words and became proselytes of Daraman's creed. Abel was curious about the strange human who did not seem to know pain or fear. He approached him and asked if he did not feel any pain. Daraman replied that the pain of the body was nothing compared to the pain of the soul. So Gabal asked him if he was not afraid, and the prophet spoke his famous words. The fear of death is but a trifle compared to the fear of life. Intrigued, Gabal asked whether Daraman cared nothing for his own life. The old man merely looked into the eyes of the mighty Jinn King, and a faint smile touched his lips. After a long silence, he finally said, I am an old man, and I have little to lose, my lord, but your race has much to gain, for it lives in darkness. At those words, many jinns grew furious at the humans' apparent disrespect, and had Gabal not intervened, the prophet would have been slain on the spot. And so it came to pass that Gabal, the mighty king of the jinns, became interested in Daraman, for here stood something he could not understand, though he had lived long and seen much. He was determined to uncover the truth behind this human strength. At first, Gabal believed that Daraman was like all other men, driven by a secret weakness. He began to test him with temptation. He clothed the old man in silk and offered him 1,000 treasures. But Daraman was as unmoved by luxury as he had been by suffering, and he rejected every gift with calm dignity. And when Gabal finally asked if he did not appreciate such generous offerings, Daraman answered, My lord, I am an old man. I have no need for glittering trinkets, and I have never valued anything that could be bought with gold. It was then that Gabal understood that Daraman was truly a holy man. Thus it happened that Daraman, who had once arrived as a chained prisoner, became the king's guest and confidant. Many jinns despised their ruler's new favorite, but Gabal sought Daraman's counsel more and more with every passing day. That was the time when Daraman was captured by the jinns, while he was fasting and meditating in the desert. They bound him in heavy chains and dragged him before Gabal's throne. There he stood, an old and broken man, haggard and torn, surrounded by the blinding splendor of the jinns' court. And the jinns mocked him. They tormented him with 1,000 cruel tricks, trying to break his spirit and drown his heart in fear. Yet even in pain, Daraman did not tremble. His body was weak, but his will was unshakable. At last, Malar, the most vicious and godless of all jinn, lost his patience. With hatred burning in his eyes, he raised his scimitar to strike the final blow. But just as the blade fell, Gabal's voice roared through the hall, commanding Malar to stop. And though Malar trembled with rage and spite, he did not dare defy his king.